Buddy the dog, what are you doing there, pal? How am I gonna pet you when you're underneath of something? Now, come on, that's better. Let's use our little blue brain there, friend. Anyway, out here is something that we need to tackle and see if we can get it to go again. And that is this hunk of sadness right here. Remember this? We bought it over the summer. We started to make it more better, and it was going great until it got more worser. So we're gonna see what we can figure out right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Rusty Oliver, man. This is a 4150 white. We bought it at auction over the summer. Then, over the winter time, I made videos on that right there. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to park them next to each other and, you know, talk about this or that. And then I tried to move it one day and it absolutely will not run. And I tried all kinds of stuff. And of course now my brand new batteries are also dead, because that's, you know, things and stuff when you forget to shut off the battery thing and you don't know anything about the tractor yet, and it apparently drains batteries. So we tried in the winter time. I needed a four-wheel drive for something, couldn't get it to go. Tried everything. It was cold. I kind of talked myself into that perhaps the issue was that the fuel had gelled up in it and it didn't want to play ball. So we're gonna try to start it and see if it'll just fire right up. Boy, wouldn't that be sweet. I'd really like it if it did. It probably won't, but I don't know what else to do here short of start to tear into stuff, because it appears that we have, you know, fine fuel, but I don't know. I was trying to debate whether you know, maybe it's on an angle, it wasn't getting fuel, or it was sucking air. We might put in 5 gallons more. I don't even really know how much is in here, because I'm not sure the fuel gauge works, and do we really know? That tank holds 100 gallons, so, you know, at this angle, it it could use about a quart of oil. So, anyway, I don't know. I'm just gonna full send it here. We're just gonna try and see what happens, because I'd really like to try and play with it. You know, there's things I could do with it, and if nothing else, it'd be handy to move stuff around here, like that other disc I want to work on. So I'm guessing what I'm gonna do is just get the jumper box and hook that right on there. Maybe I'll hook it right to the starter. That way the juice, you see, goes right where it needs to go, and we'll have a happy life. Oh yeah, this one, you can't get in there, you see. If you're a big boy, you gotta reach around and do that there. Bovines lazily sunning themselves. That's very nice. It's a nice day today. Probably 70 degrees or so. That's gonna change though. Don't worry about that. All right. Okay, sure. Come on. Don't make me get the brake clean. Remember, sadness is more better with the brake clean. All right, 12.1 volts. 12.3 volts. That ought to crank it over. Probably won't, but might. I don't think the clutch switch works on this one. Maybe it does. Okay. I ain't got nothing. Well, that's not cool. Now it won't even crank. Why for you no crank? Let's shut that down. Let's get our fatness down here and assess the situation. There's our wire No, that's not it. That's ground. There's our wire. It should go from there. Goes down there, over to here, to there. If I had to pick a failure point, I would probably guess that it was that. Let me see. Okay, let me think about this here. If I would jump her from here to here with the jump pack on, or even now, it should go clickety-click. And if it doesn't do that thing, friends, then we know we got issues? Question mark? I don't really know what I want to do here, but sadness is happening. Like if I do this. Okay. So that means our trouble would be from this wire, wherever it's going along life's way. And I don't know what's the issue, because clutch switch doesn't have one on this one. It's somebody's already bypassed it. They didn't need safety, and neither do I. Let's turn the key on again, and we'll try to crank it from out here and see what happens. I don't get what. There it goes. All right. See, she don't even smoke, friends, and she should smoke, because no smoke ain't no joke. I don't know how I want to go about this. I guess what I want to do first, I'll take the side panel off. We may have to pull that little thingamabob off the top of the pump. I did that on this tractor once before, and it's possible that that could be an issue, but I don't know. See that little guy right there? Now, I just thought of another thing. Could it be that the electrical is not letting that come up like it's supposed to, because the key just didn't work a minute ago, so maybe this isn't working. The only way I can really check that, I can't be two places at once. That's the problem. I can try to listen and see if I hear it click. I think it is, but I can't tell because of that stupid buzzer. So let's do a jumper wire ordeal here, and I'll see if I can get it to do what it's supposed to do. See if this will make her go click. Well, it's clicking there now. If I hotwire it, was it clicking before that? And is it really doing what it's supposed to? All right. Well, we're getting no smoke of any kind, so we're probably going to have to start I can hear the fuel moving though when I do that. I can hear it going back through the return where it belongs. It, like, through the system. See, it has a horrendous leak somewhere, and if it leaks out, why, that means it can leak air in, and I think that's probably what's been happening. And it's leaked like return. It lost its prime. And if you let air in the system on one of these, it takes a ton of cranking to get it to not do that thing. I just wish I knew what to do. I could pour 5 gallons more of fuel in it and see if that would help it. Well, there's fuel down in there. Snoozing dog, sure. he'll go berserk when I ride in the golf cart here. But I'm not walking all over. I bought that golf cart and I'm gonna use it. And it's Buddy out in front with a moron bringing up the rear. Buddy the dog is the winner. How did you do that? You were in a total different direction and you beat me to where I was going. All right, laughing gas. It's almost empty, but winter's almost over, so we timed it about right. Oh, Buddy the dog, you're quite the creature. I'm going this way. Look out! You didn't see that one coming, did you? Yeah. Let's see if we give it some of Professor Fard Pounder's magical nose candy. Not that I like ethering things, but desperate times call for cheating. It didn't even try. It didn't even try at all on that nose candy. Huh, what am I gonna do here? Well, I know what I can do. Let me get that watching me. All right, more voltage and the lone wolf. Just don't want to play. Well, darn. We rode that pony into the ground. I'm just not convinced that it's getting enough fuel. So that could very easily have to do with the angle of our dangle here, because that's the only thing that really changed. I mean, unless well, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know what I could have done. It is all the way wide open. Oh, I don't know, friends. Okay, well, believe it or not, that did tell me something, strange as that may seem, other than just wasting a can of ether that was almost empty. And that is, it's not getting fuel. It should have been smoking, things should have been happening, and they just aren't. So what I'm gonna suppose here, or where I'm gonna start, I'm gonna pull this jobby off of here again and see if I look inside the pump if it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing. You know, that thing could go click and maybe the pump is sticky or something, and maybe it's not letting it really do the thing that it's supposed to do. So let's just have a look-see. Doesn't cost anything to check it out, you know? And at this point, we're grasping for straws. We need a 7/16 socket and a flathead screwdriver. All right. Let's get this off of there. Hopefully I'm not overtaken by the ether. Come on. I've had this off of there. It should come off. Maybe I didn't take this wire out. Yeah, maybe I just pulled it up in the air. That's kind of what it's looking more and more like, isn't it? Oh, we can do that, whatever. Well, if you'd get out of my way, I could get something done. I bet this is working fine. I mean, when you hear that click, that's the sound of this going up in there. It's supposed to be anyway. Wonder if it would do it if I let it sit here. Okay, friends, no matter what I do, I can't get it to run. It acts like it wants to run. It'll almost start, but it doesn't. So now I'm gonna start pulling stuff loose and see if I can find some reason why. I don't know. I took that thing off the top of the pump and it looks fine. It works. The plunger and the pump is free as far as I can tell. I mean, maybe there's rollers are stuck on the pump, but it's awfully odd that I could drive it out here and park it with no problem, and now nothing. So we're gonna take fuel lines loose and verify that we got good fuel flow there. That is the fuel supply from the tank. I don't know why it goes to this cast block. I would assume that Caterpillar knew their engines were going to be used in multiple things, so they went ahead and put a supply and return right here on the corner where it was easy to tie into, and then it wasn't their problem from there on. You just hooked your lines to it and whatever. So I got good supply. Now we're gonna see. I'm 99% sure we got good return, because when I pump it, I hear it going back through the system. So what I'm afraid is our problem is the pump, but what about it, I don't know. We'll let you watch that while I pump it. But if I pump this primer pump, it should come spraying out of that return the stuff that it doesn't need. Yep. So that ain't the problem. As I figured, that wasn't the problem. So we know now that definitely it's not a fuel supply issue. At least in that regard. It's getting good fuel to it, and the fuel is moving through the system. However, that leaves our problem as being probably our injection pump is not doing injection pump things. And I don't know enough about these to know if there's something in there that would be prone to sticking more than just a shut off. I might call my pal at the injection pump shop and see if he can tell me if there's something that I can do short of pulling the pump off and bringing it to him to make her go. But I assume that it probably needs rebuilt because it's been leaving a trail in the pan and in the valley pan, you get what I'm saying? And I just suspect that that's my issue there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, friends. And then there's another fun fact about these, which I ran into on the other one, which is that it could be where it doesn't want to hold if you try to take the injection lines loose. They're like stubbed under the valve cover, and then it's direct injection. Your injectors are under the valve cover, and then these are there's like a little adapter thing, and that's what screws on here. And sometimes they don't want to hold for you to be able to, I don't know. That was what I ran into on the last time I messed with this. But I'm really bumfuzzled here at how stuff could work one day and then not work again. I can hear it moving stuff up and down. And that's your shut-off plunger. Maybe it just needed to work back and forth a bunch. It feels better now than it did. It could have been that it wasn't letting the full amount of fuel it needed up there. So in case it's not clear how this jobby works, that bolts to the top. When you turn on your key, it sucks this up, which lets that flap come up, which lets the tractor run. So if it takes off now and runs, all I got to do to shut it off is just push down on that. You know, I don't know. I'm very puzzled because we had a great running tractor. I drove it home, and now it don't want to play ball anymore. See, almost. But that's all it'll do. It'll almost start after I pump it up, and then nothing happens. So I'm gonna have to figure out what is happening. I mean, this old, it has old, who knows how old a diesel fuel probably in it. I poured some new in it, but what I'm getting at is it's possible that that old diesel fuel's gummed up everything, and it's got issues in the pump now. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Yeah, it just don't do like I think it should. It should be smoking a lot more, and it's not. There's just a hint of smoke. So either something really is stuck inside there, or this thing has left the chat and it just picked a time in winter to do it. I mean, I'm not opposed to going further. If I take this lid off, it could be that they're stuck, you know. I don't know. All right, I called my injection pump guy, and it is as I suspected. He said these are notorious for that, and he said he doesn't work on these. He sends them off, and it'll be about 3 weeks and $1,800 if I let someone do it. Basically, what we're going to do now, we're going to pull the top off of this pump, which is of course full of fuel now, and we are going to make sure each of the little barrels. You'll see what I'm talking about. That fuel shut off. Some of those things are hung up, and so that's why it's not letting us do what we want to do. So I'm trying to figure out here what I'm gonna do with all of this stuff. There's like an overflow line off the lid. We need to be able to get the lid out, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I say? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bolts that hold that lid on. And then we're gonna have to get these lines, at least that hard line, off. Boy, it's gonna be, I'm gonna have to do some cleaning here first, I think, because I don't want to get all that trash down in that pump. But yeah, we gotta go there because it's useless like it is. It's just a big giant paperweight. And I also wonder if I wonder if it's gonna leak fuel the whole time I take that off. I have something in the, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's start pulling stuff loose. Well, brake clean that lid off a little better, and then we're gonna start pulling stuff loose. And I'll try to let you see in there, because I know there's other people who are gonna want to see what's happening. But he said these are notorious if they sit any amount of time, and this one sat for who knows how many years. And it's very odd that it was able to fire up and run home, and now it won't run. We're gonna have to also get the fuel out of there that is in there. I just bet we're gonna end up having this rebuilt anyway, because it's leaking. I mean, unless it's leaking out of like the gasket or something of the top cover, and we're gonna find that anyway. But yeah, look at that messy garbage. There's a bolt from years past. I'm just digging down in the valley. I'll bring you back when something interesting happens. This isn't going to be interesting whilst I clean and that, but yeah. Well, we're going to get started. You'll probably run out of battery right when we get to something worthwhile, but that's how life goes, you know. And now we're going to have flying creatures, because today's a nice warm day. They're gonna all be coming out of the woodwork, literally. Is it gonna leak the whole time? Probably. Okay, Ross has a solution for that, but we're gonna do it out here. Ross ordered Chinesium plugs. They should plug off lines and stuff. Maybe. They probably won't, but who knows? I can't imagine that these really expensive plugs would work, but we'll see. I'm going to take it off here, and then I'm going to pick a line or a plug and jam it in, and hopefully that'll keep it from draining the whole tank, you know. I immediately regret putting more fuel in this. Oh, awesome. There's a holder. Awesome. That one's kind of small. Would this red one go? We're gonna hope that stays. it appears to be working. I love it when Chinesium products work. Now, I would guess that we'll just go ahead and see if I can take the clamp loose on this line and get that line just out of my way, because let's face it. Come on. Awesome. Okay. Boy, this is gonna be, yeah, okay. Stainless steel shield, make more noise. What I was gonna say is this is gonna be such fun. You know, that's the return line. Or it should be the return line. I want to hear you run again. I don't want to hear you scatter pieces on the yard. Alright, I think that'll have enough flex to get out of the way. Maybe I should take this. Oh, why is that hot? Why is that hot now? That shouldn't be hot now. Well, dum-dum, if you leave the key on, that's the kind of stuff that happens. All right. Now we should be good to go. See if we can get that off of there. This maybe has never been apart because there's a lot of black paint that I'm scraping off of stuff to make it go. And if we were really good and lived a clean life, maybe the place that it's leaking would have been around the top cover lid, in which case, you know what I'm saying, maybe we can fix that now. Let's bring in some more happiness here. With some brake clean. All right. We're gonna hope that all we gotta take loose is the perimeter bolts. I think that is the case, but I'm not 100% sure, so we'll find out. I could run over to Cousins and look, because I think he's got one of these apart on the shelf. His 4180 needs the pump rebuilt, and anyway, the price tag scared him off of getting it done. So that one's not going to play nice. Maybe we can get it with a wrench. Maybe we need to go down and get actual 3/8 tools, you know, and instead of this stuff that was in the back of our pickup. Well, that ain't playing nice. Did I get this one? Yeah. Oh. All right, we're gonna have some issues. I can see already. A lot of it is gonna be around places where there are fittings. I could take that loose, or I could ignore it. See, that's loose. It can't hurt us anymore. That's loose. I think that's loose now. I just gotta get it out of there. Come on. I want the minimum disassembly possible. I don't want to have to be taking half of the stuff apart, half the tractor, to get this done. Yeah, this is such precision clean work I'm doing here. I think we're gonna need another cleaning before we pull this loose. That's not gonna play nice with us, is it? Why is this not playing nice? Come on. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's in there. No, I kind of know what's in there. I just have never done it myself. Did I not get that one loose? I thought I told you guys to do that. If you're not going to do anything, you're just going to stand there. I don't know. Come on. Don't make me go get the correct tools. Come on. Play ball with us. Awesome. We're losing pieces. Now, come on. Come on. Oh, that flying creature doesn't know it, but I just saw where his nest is, and he's about to have a very bad day. Thanks to our friends at Brake Clean. Oh, we got one more. It should be. Did I not get that? I thought I had that one loose. Life's hard when you're stupid. Awesome. We got that dirty. Ooh, that's not what I expected. Okay. All right. We're in. We're in, friends. We're in. What's the deal with this spring? We don't want to lose stuff. I don't know what that is, but I know it's probably important. So do we want to leave it there for now and then lose it pieces? This is probably worthy of a fresh towel. Or I could just use the same one over and over again. Let me get some more. That diesel fuel looks beautiful. Come on. Let's get out of there, fuel. Let's get out where we can see stuff. All right, friends. I think we're making progress. However, I need to take this out to see this other side. I got the top off of the pump. I don't know where you were when the camera died, but I'm going to try to take my air elbow thing off here. See if I can get that pulled out. Come on. This was supposed to be the easiest right there. Did I not get it enough loose? Maybe I didn't get enough. Well, the clamp's off, so yeah, it should be enough. Awesome. Okay. I got the top off of this pump. It took me a minute to get my bearings on what exactly is happening. But when I don't see that there's anything not doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's what's puzzling to me. Everything looks dandy, and I thought that it would be much more obvious what was or wasn't working. So let me try to get some more fuel out of there and see if that helps our cause. So essentially, what happens, if you can make sense of this, down inside of that bottom of that pump is a camshaft, and it pushes up on each roller to fire or to each thing to fire it. So like now that one with the collapsed spring, that's the one that it's working with. And I'm trying to figure out the, like, I don't see anything stuck. I can see the little, can't I see the little things moving up and down? Everything looks good. That's what, it's kind of sad. I was wanting to find a problem. I mean, it's all the way up. There's not any more. Well, this might be one of those deals where we put it back together and then maybe it'll magically work. Because I sure don't see anything stuck like it's not supposed to be. He said to hose her down with some good stuff, so that's what I'll do. But as far as the trouble, I don't see the trouble. I'm afraid we're gonna end up taking a pump off. Maybe something was hung in the lid or something. You never know. Maybe we fixed it. Here's hoping, you know. But I guess we'll just clean this up a little better now and put her back on, because I don't see anything that is not the way it's supposed to be. All right, friends, not knowing what we're doing, you know, are we going to make any difference? I doubt it. I don't know. I feel like this needs a thin layer of something just to help. We don't really want it in there, but we're reusing an old crappy gasket, and I think that might help us a little bit, question mark? I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see if it does run, and if this would fix our diesel fuel leak that we're having. You know, just a little kiss of gasket material. Not a whole slew of it where it's going to squirt out the side, but just enough where it's a little bit wet, you know. We need to put that spring and that plunger thing back in there. I don't know if this is some kind of fuel check valve or something. Oh boys, I don't know. Not gonna get it. Nope. I knew that was the problem. Where did it go? Son of... I heard it flip. There it is. Thank goodness. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do the same thing twice and expect different results. I'm just gonna watch it more careful-ish this time. There. That feels more gooder. Alright, don't touch. This one with these little metal pieces is in here. I don't know why or what for. That was probably part of a clamp at one time or something. Put that there. Let's hope this fixes it. I don't know why it would, because we didn't do anything. But if it would fix it, that would be cool. Because I just don't know what, short of taking the pump off, I don't know what I could do. Because I've done everything. Everything that can be done here is done. I thought of, surely not. I thought of something else too. What if we try to start it without the air filter hooked up? What if something sucked into the air filter so much? That is a real possibility. That would explain the winter time. But I had that out of there, I thought. I don't know. I'm just grasping for straws at this point. I'm wanting something to be the problem. I really want something to be the problem that's easy to fix. Instead of 2 weeks or 3 weeks and $1,800. I mean, we're gonna do it because otherwise it's just a giant paperweight, but that really sucks. Plus I have no idea. Well, table that. Get away from me, bee. Next time. That one? Yeah, we got that one. I'm pretty sure. That one. Hand is cramping pretty bad there. Arthritis. Probably should clean that up and seal it, because it might be diesel fuel leaking there. Let's get it to run again first. Then we'll totally tear it apart and try something else. This thing ran so good all the way home, and but this is the second time it's acted up where it died and it didn't want to run again. So something is not. That's the moral of the story. We'll just leave that right there. Something is not. Alright, this goes on there. Okay, what else? Well, time to put that line back on that we plugged off. Our little Chinesium plug worked good. I'm telling you what, bee, the second you sting me is your last day on Earth. So you just buzz on. I know we're gonna be pulling the pump. I just know it's got some other major issue. Don't worry. All right, what am I missing here? Well, we got it enough together to run, but we need to fill that pump back up now because it is totally empty. Let's hope that we got some progress here, that something is working, because this giant silver paperweight just ain't doing it for me. Now, I don't have that top on the pump, so I don't need any electrical system right now, except for cranking. Let's turn that back on.
nothing.
I'm afraid that we're hosed, friends. I'm afraid that a Caterpillar injection pump rebuild is in our future. Because I don't know. I would say it has something to do with the trail that it leaves behind. I mean, it's obviously putting some in the pan there, so, in the valley pan. So something ain't right. But I don't know, friends. All of that stuff's working excellently. So, and it's a warm day. So there's really not much more I can do. No smoke at all. All right, so it's been 24 hours and Buddy the dog has got him some corn. What else is new? And I've been thinking about this more, and I also read up more on the internet, other people who have had the similar problem. And I am pretty well convinced that what we're going to try next is I'm going to replace that fuel primer, and I'm going to order a new governor housing, which you can get to on the back of the pump. You got to take the intake crossover out, and then you should be able to get that off of there. I've read a lot of comments of people who are having the same trouble that this thing was having, and said that the trouble was that governor housing seal getting wore, letting air in, and then it would, you know, essentially always be full of air and not, you know, you'd have to bleed it every time. People said, yeah, you could get it started with ether, it'd run. If you let off your foot, it would die. Kind of very much the symptoms that this was having. You could get it started sometimes, but then it, you know, it wouldn't be running right. And then if you'd come up here and pump it a bunch while it was running, it would finally take off, like it would be bleeding the air out, essentially, and take off and run. And I think what might be why I drove it over here and then couldn't get it started again does have to do with this angle. And that would make me think that that governor housing might be the issue, because you can't tell on camera. I mean, on camera, this looks flat. This is not flat. The tractor's sitting like this on the terrain, basically. I don't think that you can get that across. I mean, it is, you know, if I try to hold the camera square with the earth, that's about what we're looking at. So I think that in my mind, that would make sense, how that governor housing could potentially be letting air in somehow or another. And also another thing that aggravated the problem is that the thing doesn't have much fuel in it. It has maybe 10 gallons of fuel in it, and in a 100-gallon tank, 10 gallons ain't a whole lot as far as the height, because the tank is down here, and look how much lower it is than the injection pump. If I would fill this tank half full, I bet it would start. That's something we could experiment with, but you know, I just, it's not really in the way here. It is kind of, but I could shove it forward out of the way. But what I'm saying is, I feel that all working together might be what my problem is, because it does, it just acts like it's got air in it. That's the problem. It just acts like you almost get it started, and then it doesn't want to take off and run, like it's sucking too much air. The fuel's probably at an angle. It's probably not getting a pure slug of fuel all the time, maybe, or something. Who knows? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, I just think we're getting good fuel all the way through. We took that loose. It goes up, it goes back. It's in the pump, and the plungers aren't stuck. The shutoff thing isn't stuck. So to me, that governor housing makes sense. It's about 300 bucks, but that's cheaper than 1,800 bucks. I did get a hold of the pump shop everybody uses on YouTube. He finally wrote me back, and he said they don't rebuild them anymore, but he said he's got some that he could, you know, sell me right off the shelf. But I need to find out, and that's another thing I thought, we need to find out whether this pump is the same as what would be in a truck. I don't think it would be. Like, I think the governor would be different, because if you think about it, on a tractor, you're running at a set speed, and then the governor needs to maintain that speed no matter what happens. Whereas in a truck, you're just putting your foot down to give it more. And I think, like on the 4180, I don't think it has the right governor in it because of that reason. You know, it falls flat on its face after a while. So that's what I need to make sure of. Try to get some engine numbers off of this, or off of the pump or something. Figure something out on that. But to me, I like to learn new things and whatever. So I'm going to try governor housing and this fuel plunger primer thing, because I've read a lot of comments where guys said it's leaking somewhere inside itself and sucking air, and it doesn't look bad, but it was bad. So I'm willing to give those two things a shot and gamble on that. And if it fixes it, we're golden. If it doesn't fix it, then we'll probably go ahead and pull the pump and get a different pump, or get this one rebuilt. But I feel like that would be the wisest thing to do. Plus, you know, if that fixes it, that might help somebody else with the info on that. And we'll video changing that governor housing and see what kind of issue we get into doing that. But it shouldn't be too difficult. It looks in the parts film like you can get to everything. It just, I need to make sure I understand how the linkage engages so that we put it back together. It doesn't go wide open and blow up the motor. But if it does, I guess we'll find a wrecked truck and pull the motor out and go again. But if you ever want something to work, just fire the parts cannon at it. You don't even have to put them on. If you order about $500 worth of parts, the next time you turn the key, it'll fire right up. The only thing I have done since all of that, I left the battery charger on there and forgot about it. It's been on for like 2 days. And then number B, I put 5 gallons of diesel fuel in it that day we were messing with it, and then, you know, walked away for 2 days. And what I'm wondering is if that didn't give it a chance to work the air out a little bit, that might have raised the level in the tank enough to make things happen. This morning I thought I'm going to try it one more time, and I opened the bleeder on the pump, pumped it a few times, fuel ran right out, no air. I cracked all the injector lines, pumped it, and the way these are made, they don't have a return line. They like return back through the injection line or whatever. It lets the pressure off, I don't know. But pumped, every one of them had excellent fuel, and I thought there is no reason why this thing shouldn't run. And I pulled that trigger and it immediately fired to life. So figure that out, friends. It did not work like half a dozen other times I've tried it, and today it fires right up. So we're gonna have to investigate. I did order a primer pump, and I ordered a governor housing, and we need to see if that's where that leak is coming from. Down in the valley, I don't know. It's also kind of wet here, but we had that off, so maybe it's still oily from that. But I can't believe that. I've messed with that for I don't know how many hours, and today it fires right up. Whatever. We're gonna move it out of this spot and re-inflate the tires, which are getting terribly low. But that is just bizarre. I mean, the only thing like I can figure that maybe helped was that extra fuel I put in, and then just giving it time to sit, it worked it out. And the other day it hadn't worked it all out yet, and I didn't go through and bleed everything. I just primer pumped it, and usually that was enough to get it started. But I don't know, I'm a little hesitant to take it out and use it for something far away from home in case it would act up again. But we gotta still sort out where that leak's coming from. So I don't think that I wasted my effort on the stuff I bought, I'll probably go ahead and put it on. But isn't that strange? And look at it, it doesn't smoke a lick. It runs great. I mean, what's the deal, friends? It blows my mind. But it's running. So we're gonna move it out of this spot. Like I said, I'll put air in the tires and hopefully we'll get to see it used for something this year. I'm gonna make sure I park it on a very level spot so that I don't have this problem again. Because I think that is what might have caused my issue to start with. Because that's the only thing that changed. You know? The fact that it's leaning a little bit. So, sweet, I guess. That's the only thing I can say. I'm happy it's running. So we're gonna leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.